Greetings and thank you for joining the weekly meditation of Calgary Mindfulness, where every Sunday morning we meditate for 15 minutes on a different topic, often suggested by our practicing community. If you would like to join these meditations live, or if you would like to attend in-person meditations around the Calgary area during the summer months, please email calgarymindfulness@gmail.com. I hope you enjoy this practice and wishing you a wonderful week. Good day, everyone. I hope you're doing well. If you're waiting to join our Sunday class, I apologize because I could not get good enough internet connection to do it. So we were out in the mountains again and doing lots of wood chopping and other things. And then let's begin by taking a couple deep breaths and just to get rooted in the body. The embodied presence. What does that mean? Rooted in the body. It sounds so hippie. It sounds so floaty and new agey. So what exactly does that mean? I'm just taking a few deep breaths. Observing the breath, observing how we feel, bringing it back together, getting our minds out of past and future. That's what the embodied presence means, is I am here right now. I am very present. I am not scatterbrained doing 20 things at once. I am really focused on a couple little things and focused on this very moment. Now, what's the usefulness of this embodied presence? Essentially, for meditators, actually for people generally, mindfulness, the act of embodied presence, I'm just listening to the magpies next door, wondering what's up. So, mindfulness can be a means of responding to either dissociation, where we don't really have the ability, based on traumatic backgrounds, to kind of pay attention to what is going on, or oversensitivity to our environment. So mindfulness is one way to balance out these two conditions. Our first job is to understand when we feel off. Let's say, for example, one key to eliminating suffering is to eliminate the judging of other people for anything all the time. And many traditions have a way to phrase this. So comparing ourselves to others and things like envy create great suffering. So let's pay attention to where they creep up in our lives. Maybe we're embarrassed to admit it, but we can admit it to ourselves, because sitting with those feelings is the first path we have to understanding why we feel that way. And perhaps there's something we can do to fix the problem. Maybe we can make a decision that brings us greater happiness so that we're not, let's say, envious of someone else. Maybe we're afraid. We're afraid of security, safety, and so forth. And so then judging someone else helps us feel safer, righter, better. Now, none of this actually works. It all leads to us feeling worse. And so our sitting in the moment to notice our thoughts and emotions is a bellwether. It's an alarm clock that helps us tune in to where we are and what we need. So that's another way the embodied presence can help us manage a world where many people in Western cultures are dissociated or oversensitive. I'm just sitting with the body. And this magpie, I think it's noticing my cats. Inhaling and exhaling. And just noticing a real sense of relief as we bring our focus to this very moment. I'm taking several deep breaths, feeling the rise and fall of the torso and enjoying the ease that comes with taking just a few moments to be with our breath. Now, as we sit today, encouraging ourselves to develop embodied presence, let's call to mind any senses, feelings, situations where we feel judgment, for example. That's a big one because people are often complaining about other people, whether it's in the grocery store lineup, driving. We feel like we don't get enough fast enough from all the people around us. So anytime we find ourselves in that mindset, how unfriendly we are towards others, what a lack of tenderness and care and responsiveness to others that is. And of course, that flips into ourselves. We also lose the ability to be tender and responsive with ourselves if we are constantly criticizing others. And we continue to breathe, calling to mind any emotions, feelings, anything that we become turbulent about. Bring it to the table. It is something we can offer up to spirit, something we can transform into light and openness and ease. So bring it up. It may be very painful. It may be hard to sit with, and that's okay. Maybe we're not quite ready to dig and investigate, but at least notice. Notice the feelings of discomfort and just inhale. Maybe we're experiencing anguish, deep sadness, some kind of torment, some sort of great frustration. Just notice the feeling, where that feels in the body, a tightness in the chest, a real sense of clenching up the abdomen so that we can't be pierced. Let's unclench. Let's unclench everything. And what we learn when we breathe into these uncomfortable feelings is that they're not going to kill us. That's the first thing the body understands, even if the mind doesn't. Sitting with this terrible feeling will not kill me. And facing ourselves honestly will not kill us either. We may be embarrassed by what we find, of course. That is a perfectly normal human experience. I have a couple personal items I could go over as meditation stories to connect this practice to something real and personal. The first has to do with my entire box of baby sparrows that died this week. Ugh, I'm not ready to talk about it. I have to sit with it a little bit longer. But the second has to do with an ex-boyfriend, and I saw a video of some of my friends attending a birthday party of his, and it was a very flamboyant birthday party. He had a big poster of himself, and he was dressed up and sort of looked like the Pope, and dancing around in a way that I found very immodest. And that was something that I found difficult in our relationship. I found him to be kind of a peacock, like very superficial and not a lot of substance. And how could anyone be satisfied with a shallow life? How could anyone find meaning in a shallow life? Whereas for me, it's very important to interrogate my thoughts. I would say my primary goal this lifetime is to get as close to enlightenment as possible, to as much as I can in my flawed mind and body. I want to embody the love of Christ, the Christ consciousness in this world. And that is easy words and hard work to let go of judgment against everyone, even those who oppress you. It is a remarkable amount of restraint and sense of connection, compassion, tenderness towards everyone that Jesus interacted with. And that is hard work. And I have made this commitment to do my best this lifetime to make that happen. So whenever I come up with judgment, I want to give it to the Holy Spirit. It is another opportunity for healing. So I saw this video, or was it a picture of this ex-boyfriend? It was a very short, toxic relationship. I just didn't have I've come out of a very long marriage and a very long, difficult relationship. So I only have these two relationships, and I don't have enough experience to kind of figure out what fits and doesn't fit. And I'm figuring that out now. But I had such a hostile reaction. I just thought, what a lack of modesty, what a lack of humility, what a peacock, and we're deeply incompatible, and good riddance. So, which of course feels good. I feel satisfied, right? I feel satisfied that I'm right, that I'm not a peacock, that I invest in humility, not to tout around like a flag, but privately and modestly. And so right away, my inner wisdom said, why do you have to judge anyone? Why not let go and take the wisdom? I'm already in a wonderful relationship with a kind and giving man who is very humble and respectful of me and caring. And I'm so grateful for that. Wow. I feel so comfortable with that. It's just wonderful. But why not let go of whatever anger I had in the past? And of course, the reason is I haven't forgiven myself for investing in something completely unsuitable. I haven't forgiven myself for putting my mind and heart and body on the line when clearly it was very inappropriate and not healthy. So, there's my inner forgiveness work to take care of. So I'm angry at myself, right? And the judgment there is against myself. And when I sat with that for a moment and inner wisdom popped up and said, yo, here's what's really going on, I thought, oh, okay. And it was such a relief to be able to let go of that, any judgment and anger against another person for not meeting my expectations of what it means to be spiritual, what it means to be a person with integrity, an ethical, moral person. I don't get to define what that is for everyone. I don't get to define what's fulfilling for everyone. I'm not here to fix people or change people. The highest and best I can offer is my embodied and loving, compassionate heart to everyone with whom I interact. And so for me, sitting with this embodied presence was very helpful. Number one, it alerted me to the fact that I was still carrying anger and resentment. Number two, I was able to inquire and figure out that the anger and resentment are against me. There's a great deal of shame I'm carrying around like a flag about having done something so unsuitable. Now all of my friends and family, when I say I'm dating someone, they're like, oh, another idiot. But this time, Randy's really awesome. Number three, it helped me pull in all of my emotions and negative judgments into my clearing process to give that away, to invest in my highest and best. And for me, that means working, striving, releasing, loving, enjoying, so that I can more fully embody the presence of Christ in this world. To be as loving as I can. And whatever the Christ consciousness means for you in your tradition, a constant, relentless flow of love and forgiveness and ease and letting go. I hope that story was helpful as we continue to inhale and exhale, calling to mind judgments and sufferings we may be holding on to, grievances against others, and just flip them around into self-forgiveness. That the inquiry might need a little bit more time, but is well worth the effort. Well worth the effort. There's an important statement in A Course in Miracles, of which I am a student. I'm halfway through the workbook again this year, and I feel the layers of anger and resentment and holding on to the illusions of this world. I feel them peeling away slowly. I have a very stubborn ego. But there is an important statement which says, I can't exactly quote it out, paraphrase, when you are ready to see only love, love is all you will see. And that is the vision of Jesus. And so we can ask for the willingness to be ready to see only love. Isn't that wonderful? We can be compassionate for when we're not there yet. And for all the mistakes we make along the way, because we are flawed, imperfect, beautiful, perfect beings. Taking another few deep breaths in silence to enjoy this lovely moment of release, of exposing ourselves to ourselves and knowing that we're okay anyway. Inhale and exhale deeply. I invite you to continue this practice over the week. I invite you to message me if you would like to join in our live practices over the week. I may not do so many on the weekends because I want to travel with my sweetie pie. But I will be doing them on some weekends when I'm here, like July 12th and 13th, and then other week nights. So please contact me so that I can get you into this meditation loop. I would love for you to join us. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I wish you a wonderful week.